evening.
I'm trying to reconnect.
Good evening. Welcome to the Goodwin Boxing Show. Tonight we've got with us, on my left, Tom Dallas.
Thank you.
On my right, Steve Goodwin. And on my right, Neil Parry. Neil, if you're watching, hurry up. So Neil Parry will be joining us shortly, so it'll be a first for our live broadcast, in that our guests will be arriving as the show's going on. We're going to come on shortly to what Tom is doing and what his role in boxing is, which is quite an interesting one. But we're going to start off having a look, as we always do, at a busy week, both gone and coming up, in Goodwin Boxing. So, Steve, the main man, can you tell us a bit? Firstly, you had Saturday and Portsmouth, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, how did that go?
It was okay. It was, everybody in Portsmouth seemed to enjoy the show. John McIntyre headlined it. He took on that Vladimir Hudrani who beat Charlie Duffield, and Joel put on a good performance, stopping him in round 7. So it was a good performance from Joel. We're going to move on to other things. Joel will be out again in September, possibly in London. Welcome, Neil.
Neil, come on in. You're live.
So what's happened with that? Lucas Ballingall looked good in his stoppage. Charlie Quinn made a good solid debut.
Yeah.
Bona Kudos got back to winning ways. A solid performance, but I mean it's never going to be anything but after his fight with Carl Wheeler. But I mean he done the job effectively against Rudan. So he was happy with that. Dave Birmingham, footballer 3 out of 3. He'll head towards the Southern Area title in the next 12-18 months.
Yeah.
And a good little debut from young Ricky Little from Southampton. It was a nice show. It wasn't, you wouldn't write back and say it's one of the star-studded shows, but it was a good little show. It served a purpose. It got the lads out. The fans liked it, so it was great. But then we move on to much bigger this week.
Yeah. All right. So anyone that's at Birmingham, feel free to send us. Birmingham. I think of Dave Birmingham then. My geography's bad. My maths. Anyone that's at Portsmouth, feel free to send through your comments. Maybe we'll pick them up on the live interactions. And then, as you say, you've got this weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Far larger card.
A bit bigger.
Yeah. You're cool.
Yeah, 19 fights on. Still 19 still standing. So
yeah,
we're ready to go at 3 o'clock.
Is that when the boxing starts or the doors open?
Doors open at 2:45. First fight at 3 o'clock is a big heavyweight contest. People ask why we put it on at 3, but somebody has to go on at 3. That's Nuruddin Madoon, the most avoided heaviveight in Britain.
The man who's called out
everybody, and nobody wants to go near him. But the idea is get him out there, get him shown, and then he'll be chasing some of these other names. People forget they think he's Moroccan and they can avoid him because he hasn't got a British passport. He has got a British passport, so he is eligible for English titles. He is eligible for British titles. He's looking to make a statement against a very tough Kamil Sokolowski. Yeah. He opens the show. The show runs through. It's unbelievable. I think it's an unbelievable card in patches. Neil, who's here, is on the show. And then you end up with some of these title fights. McCallum Miller, the chair is in. That's a great fight. Both of them. Dalton Miller has trained for this like it's his World Cup. I spoke to John McCallum yesterday. He knows one slip up, his career's over if he loses to Dalton.
He's bringing us down from Scotland.
He's brought, I think, 60 or 70 from Scotland. So he's done well. He's bringing an army. That'll be good. They'll make a noise of 250. The Wadi Camacho Danny Cousins fight, I think it's a great fight. I know that the RC Experts panel, they've all gone for Wadi Camacho stoppage. If you're a betting man, that would be the most favoured outcome. I think Danny Cousins is going to give it a bigger fight than a lot of people realise. He's moving up to cruiserweight. I think he's a better cruiserweight than light heavyweight. Yeah. Wadi is, I believe, a level above Southern Area. Danny Cousins, I will be giving it his all, and I think it's an absolutely phenomenal fight. Jack Morris, Kelvin Young, another great title fight. Jack Morris is coming off an English title fight against Tom Baker. Kelvin Young's been an international champion. It's a great fight. And then you've got Josh Kennedy, who's one of the top super bantamweight prospects, I believe, in the country. He fights for the challenge belt against Rogowski. And there's some great things on the undercard. Matthew Chambers, Southern Area champion, takes on Luke Fash. There's some really, really great fights on the undercard. I think it's a fantastic night. And we've delivered something for the public in the summer that people want to get to. People that don't go to York Hall normally should come to this event. It's an absolutely phenomenal event.
Yeah, and it gives a good opportunity end of season as well.
Yeah.
Last one before the August break.
Exactly.
get lots of people out, and
just a great celebration of what a good season it's been for Goodwin Boxing.
Yeah.
That's why we're going to call in July. We're going to have a summer fight festival every year, and it just celebrates what's been achieved. You can see some of the great talent that's up and coming. Some of the lads like Madoon, who's going to break through this year, and you're going to see some really great title fights. It's a brilliant night boxing.
Any of those, Tom, that piqued your interest?
Yeah, well, the Miller McCullum one for me, it was those two who flipped at the.
Me, you got hit by a chair.
Yeah, I mean, well, that got me excited. So.
Oh, brilliant! That's what gets you excited, right? We've worked that out.
So I imagine they sold a few tickets on the back of that, just a little incident there. So I mean, yeah, I think that kind of gets my taste buds going, to be honest, that one.
I think that is probably going to be the fight of the night.
Yeah. Yes. What's that for a challenge belt?
Challenge belt, yeah. Doesn't matter. Do you know what that could be for a tin belt?
Yeah.
It's just going to be a proper fight.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. So.
Yeah. Are there any in particular you're looking for aside from that one?
I'm actually looking forward to seeing Madoon fight. He's had a long time of frustration out of the ring. It's the first fight under our banner. I'm really looking forward to him fight. I'm looking forward to see the Matthew Chandler fight. I'm looking forward to see Justin Menzies back in the ring. I'm looking forward to see Linus Udofia again because he was great on his debut. Brad Pauls. I mean, it really is. I think the whole card is full of exceptional talent. Neil now going for 4-0. The first fight under us, Darryl Church, who I think could be, he just needs a little bit more tender handling and build up a little bit slower than he has been. I just think I could run through the whole card and I'll be boring everybody. So it's just worth, anyone that's not coming, just get a ticket of one of the boxers, come down and watch the show.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, be there till very late, just have a great time, have a few drinks and have
Excellent. And we'll be coming on later to Neil, who's going to be appearing on the show. So finding out what goes into somebody's preparation. What are we now? 5 days out from fight night, and he's sat in a chair here, so training hard. So the other thing going on this week is purse bids.
Yeah, that's tomorrow, so it's quite the one. I mean, there's 2 purse bids out involving our fighters tomorrow. Frank Buglioni's purse bid against Hosea Burton for the English title. As I said last week, we had a meeting with Eddie. Wasn't enough money. So we're going to purse bids, and I can guarantee that our bid is higher than Eddie's offer was. I'll stipulate that now, so don't think that he's bluffing. So there's a higher bid than you offer, and you'll see that tomorrow.
If you're watching, Eddie, there you go.
So, or anybody from Matchroom. So if you do want the fight, you need to up it. Other than that, we'll stage it.
And you're quite happy to stage it as well.
We'll stage it. This is what you've got to remember. It's not a game of bluff. We've won the bids for Mark and Mullender, which was against a Frank Warren promoted fighter. We won the purse bid last year when we had Lee Markham against Callum Smith. We've bid over 30,000 for Comey against Derry Matthews when we were the underbidder by 4,000. When the time's up, we'll bid. So they know we're going to bid. So if Eddie wants it, he's going to have to pay. If he doesn't want it, bring Joe Gallagher down to your corner Saturday night. I'm sure he's going to have a great time.
He wouldn't know his way out of Manchester.
Well, he might have to learn how to drive to London.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously we've got Leon McKenzie up against Jermaine Smile. That's a much less profile person. It's a great fight. Maybe that will be staged in Leicester. At that stage, what happened was that we asked how much Jermaine Smile wanted to come to London to defend his title. We felt that his request was totally unrealistic for an off-TV show. It doesn't appear that Matchroom want to stage it, so I'll have to go to purse bids, and whatever happens, whether we put a bid in or not, I don't even want to say about that because I don't think it's fair. Whoever's bid that may get it, and the fight will be staged. We're back in Lyon, but there isn't. There is a situation where we're going to see. We don't know for sure who's purse bidding tomorrow, so there's going to be a very interesting result to that purse bid as well. So there are 2 purse bids that we've got an interest in tomorrow.
Yeah, excellent. I'm just going to pick up. There's a few comments I'm seeing coming through. Carl Wheeler, top work, lads. Evening, Carl. Hope you're well. Michael Pert, keep up the good work, guys. Michael, hope we see you soon back in the ring. How's his injury going? Do you know?
He's coming along slowly. I think it's September, October time.
Okay.
I mean, he's been the most unfortunate boxer I think I've ever known. He had all the medical problems. Then his knee went, and then
broke his hand.
I mean, how can anybody have such bad luck? He's very, very talented, but he's got to. Hopefully, he's due a change of good fortune in boxing. It's not just talent. You've got to have the talent. You've got to have the hard work. You've got to be able to market yourself. He fulfills all of those, but you need a bit of luck, and every bit of luck was bad has happened to him, and hopefully that will change.
Yeah, so hope you're well, Michael. Hope you're recovering, and the hand's in a good shape. So you're training a lot. Paul Martin, what about this old pro Manzo who's recently returned and been knocking all out?
Who?
Pass. If you want to elaborate, Paul. Any idea, Tom?
No, sorry.
No, if you want to elaborate, mate, then feel free.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the other show that's on this weekend is out in Wales at Cardiff.
So what you've got there is a combination of some really, really exciting fights and a fight that's masquerading as a world championship. And it's not. It's and despite the fact that some people may write that people here don't know what they're talking about, I think we're all in agreement that we do know what we're talking about. That fight's a joke.
Flanagan Farnham.
It's a joke. It's an insult of people's intelligence to masquerade that as a world title, and it's, to be honest, I think an insult to Terry Flanagan that he's got to go through with it.
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's just ridiculous. And Terry Flanagan deserves better than that. However, the Corcoran fight is
against Williams.
Is a great fight and well worthy of watching. I think it's a brilliant fight, and full credit for them to bring Rigondeaux over to fight Jazza Dickens. They are two fantastic fights that are worthy. It's just a shame they got that really crappy one sandwiched in the middle.
What do you reckon Rigondeaux Dickens and Tom?
Well, I think it's a foregone conclusion, really, but it's just amazing that we've got Rigondeaux coming over here. Cause in my opinion, I think he's probably pound for pound at the moment. Him, Lomachenko, for me, are my two favourite boxers anyway. So just to get one of those over in England is fantastic. So
but you're not giving Dickens much.
No, I mean all credit for him for taking the fight. I mean, but he's just levels below, isn't he? So I'm still looking forward to seeing it.
Do you think the aim's to hype up Quigg Frampton to get him in the mix for Warren to get Rigondeaux in with Quigg Frampton? Do you think that's what it's all about?
Yeah.
Why would he bring him?
I don't. I mean,
that's true. I mean, because people have always said Rigondeaux, it's not a massive money fight because outside of boxing, not too many people know about him, which is unfortunate. So maybe bring him over here builds his profile to set up those fights.
But isn't that quite counterintuitive though? In that, if it is for Quigg, because Frampton's moved up to featherweight now to take on Santa Cruz,
but he could drop down again.
He could drop down, but I mean, he's not even a Hearn fighter, or he's not attached to anyone. Warren Hearn, he's Barry McGuigan's, isn't he? But if you're bringing Rigondeaux over to build his name up, you build it over.
Well, he's done the same. He brought Tete over, didn't he, as well? And is it? I mean, is it a thing of desperation that your stable's depleting, that you're bringing over these name fighters from abroad, or is it smart business in that you haven't got fighters in those divisions and you want to challenge the status quo? It's one of the two. But I mean, I always before. I mean, I know that foreign boxers do not generate money in the UK. So it doesn't seem to be a money. I don't really see where the money is. But listen, they're great fights. Tate's brilliant. Rigondeaux's brilliant. I'm just not really. I don't really know whether it's a desperation or whether there is a long game.
Yeah. What's the model behind it? I mean, Tete signed now, hasn't he? So.
But Tate's not going to.
Yeah, you're not going to generate.
How many people are going to come through to the door to Solana Tete? Nobody.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the model of it. But it may be that. But if you do look at it, Hearn and Matchroom seem to be on the ascendancy in signing pretty much who they like nowadays. So maybe it's a stage that they're being forced into signing that type of fighter because they're not getting the quality British ones.
Yeah, I mean, Hearn said before though that he's openly said he doesn't fancy the Rigondeaux fight with Quigg, hasn't he? Because it's not as big money as it should be.
It's a risk-reward balance.
Exactly, and let's be honest, I like Quigg a lot, but he's once again not in that.
I totally agree. So what's the point? I mean, listen, it's a showpiece, but I don't know.
It probably must be a showpiece.
But he has signed Tete, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to be the same. I don't know, but I don't think
is Tete super bantam as well. Or?
He's lower, isn't he? He's
super fly, yeah.
So I don't really understand the actual end game to it. I understand it's brilliant for him to have brought him over. I think it's all hats off to them for getting him in. I just don't really understand where we end up. You understand with the British fighters, you go through the English and British intercontinental, you build them into a platform, you sell them, and you move them on. But you see, you got Terry Flanagan here. I mean, to say about platform, and I like Box Nation, I watch it. So, but as a platform, if you go down the street and you say Terry Flanagan, Scott Quigg, and you ask people who knows who, my God, there's going to be a massive comparison. Let me tell you who, wouldn't it?
I mean,
so it's not a great.
The only people tuning into Box Nation are hardcore boxing fans, really, isn't it? So it doesn't. The casuals, as they keep going on about at the moment, they don't really they don't really watch any of his content, I don't think. So Flanagan, I mean, he's not a big name, is he? Unfortunately.
I mean, the more embarrassing comparison is the Crawler Flanagan one, I guess. That
Of course.
two people that went to the same school, same weight division, both world champions. How many people are aware of Flanagan over Crawler?
But you've got to say, you could argue very clearly that Flanagan's a better fighter.
Yeah.
Oh,
You could make a really good argument for that.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the platform, doesn't have the the promotional backing.
He's got promotional backing. I mean, because you've got to remember, Frank Warren is the best promoter in the last 30 years over here. He's done more than overall. He's had more champions, done more things, been the best promoter. He has. So it's about, but it's whether the platform is now able to challenge the Sky machine that Eddie Hearn has, and I'd say it's not.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So talking about bringing over the pound for pound number one in the world of Rigondeaux, potentially. What about the news of Golovkin, another the potential pound for pound number ones? Let's throw it over to Neil. Neil, what's come your way here? As a boxer yourself, how exciting is it to have Golovkin land on these shores in September?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I thought he was going to watch Eubank, but I'm happier with the Brook fight, to be honest.
Outcomes?
Yeah, just because I don't think that Eubank's in a position where he's fought for the right to come against Golovkin, especially to bring Golovkin over to England. So I think Brook's a bigger name, high profile, and yeah, I think it's a massive fight. I'm well excited for it.
What happens?
I think that Golovkin takes him out.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's a bigger fight, but I don't agree with the weight difference. And I think the weight difference will tell. I think he'll take him out.
If you don't agree with Eubank standing, then he's a bigger name than Joshua.
No, not at all.
He's mad.
He's in a dream world though. That's no way.
Do you imagine trying to negotiate with him?
I couldn't imagine trying to negotiate in a shop with him, let alone over a world title fight. He's off his nut. When you see him dancing at like juniors weigh-in.
Yeah, he's mad. He's like flying through promoters as well. He boxed on Frank Warren,
Edison,
5,
yeah.
floated back over. I'm surprised people would take him, but he's a talented fighter. But
There's money in it.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, Golovkin has to be a heavy favourite. I think the Eubank fight would have been more of a spectacle. I think he would have probably traded leather more than Brook will. I'm not sure how Brook's going to approach it because he likes to hold centre of the ring and he's been able to do that against all the opposition he's faced. But against Golovkin, he's going to be pushed back onto the ropes. So he's going to have to do something he hasn't done before, kind of get on his bike, dance around the ring and stuff. So
He'll get on his bike and leave the fucking O2 because he's going to get absolutely ironed out.
Yeah.
It doesn't go beyond 6, that's my guess.
He'll run for a few rounds, won't he? He'll run for a few rounds, and it'll be similar to Khan against Canelo, but he'll probably just be even more brutal, probably.
I think he's got, I think he's got better punch resistance than Amir Khan, doesn't he? And I mean, Amir Khan is not a big welterweight moving up to.
I think Golovkin would hit much harder than Canelo.
That's true.
And relentlessly as well.
And in clusters.
Yeah, that lateral movement as he just stalks you around the ring. What'd that be like, Neil? Seeing somebody like Golovkin.
Well, you can fight me all welterweight.
Yeah.
You can still
Yeah,
fight.
Yeah, what, £4 million death fighter?
How much would it take to get you in there with?
Yeah, what's the lowest? What's the lowest? Come on.
I don't know. That's fine.
It's only because you can jump out.
Episode 11, Neil Parry calls out Golovkin.
So you would fight Golovkin?
Yeah, it's mine. Yeah, definitely. I'll beat as well. No.
Only tomorrow. No other day.
Yeah.
It's got one day to get. Yeah. No, I think it's. I don't know. I can see him getting wiped out fairly comprehensively, but I have my own theory on it. I won't go into it now. But right, let's have a quick look through. Steve, what date is the Garton Goodjohn fight?
17th of September. Your call. Somebody's put a picture of the box for Tom Bella. Not the same one, Dan.
Daniel Woodgate, there's an imposter on the show today. Yeah, so it did actually throw me as well when I got a text yesterday saying we had Tom Dallas coming on. Well, yeah, it took me a while. Sorry, Garton Goodjohn.
Yes, it's going to headline Olivia's show on the 17th of September, which is going to that's going to be I think that's going to be a big one. There's going to be 3-4 title fights on their minimum. So there's going to be a really big show. 70%.
So what else is on that show as well?
There's 2 or 3 things we're in the middle of negotiating at the moment. Some of the fighters we've spoken to of mine are possibly going to go on there. So there's quite a few, but there's 2 or 3 things that could land over the next few weeks. You've also got the Menzies Bradley Price fight.
Yeah.
That goes on there, which is great. And then there's a couple of other big things that could go on.
Alright, it's probably the ones that I'm not going to mention, so I'll
Yeah.
skip over.
Yeah.
Richard Sawyer, Brooke good enough, but not sure how Brooke will handle Triple G's power, late stoppage. Jeff Thomas, Triple G early. If Brooke was a legit middleweight, he wouldn't beat Golovkin. I'm in agreement with that. Like,
And let me tell you something, Brooke better hope it's an early stoppage, because if it's a late stoppage, you'll never fight again.
I
Because he'd be so badly beaten if he survives that it might be career ending. So he better hope it's a little bit early and just one punching out.
No, I mean, George Groves can put an end to Martin Murray at super middleweight. And like, it took Golovkin, 10, 11 rounds or whatever it was, but he could do it. So, by that virtue, I mean, I know you're talking different weights, and maybe Murray had to drain down further for middle. He did, clearly. But Golovkin did a number on him that a super middle couldn't do.
But Murray is not also the same fighter now. When you took a pasting like you have from Gennady Golovkin, you are never going to be the same. Matthew Macklin was never the same. You're not going to be the same fighter. That's the end of you at that level, and it will be like Kilbrook. It will be the end of him at that level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope he's getting well paid, because I'm not saying he won't ever fight again. I'm sure he will, but he'll never be at the same level as he was before.
Do you think Brooke can't ever happen? Both
Yeah,
get knocked
I think it
spark
makes
out
sense.
and then...
I think it could easily be a fight. They both get sparked out, make one big payday.
Yeah.
I think it happened at light heavyweight. I mean, you see the size of Brooke when he was doing the punditry on Porter.
Yeah, you see that? He was
30.
huge, wasn't he? Yeah. I'd say he looked around about 13, 14 stone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, he's going to have to come down a fair
But
bit.
as Eddie said, one of the reasons that this fight is happening is why he's got a chance is at the moment he's heavier than Golovkin. And as Kev said, he's heavier than Andy Joshua is at the moment, but it doesn't give him much chance either. And I think that's a very valid point. The fact he's been eating...
I'll fight on the Golovkin undercard.
Yeah, but he's heavier. I think the fact that Golovkin has been training and Kilbrook's been eating pies, chips and everything else, it doesn't give Kilbrook a better chance. That logic does not make sense. But you're going to try and sell it because it's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But you're going
Yeah, build Golovkin, get him in review bank later in the year, makes it a bigger fight. That's my theory.
exactly.
Daniel Woodgate, Brooke struggled with Carson Jones. He's got nothing for Triple G. Brooke a decent fighter, but I've never believed the hype of him being world class. I couldn't disagree with him. I mean, granted, the Carson Jones one was before he brought on a nutritionist and things, didn't he? Like, it was quite well publicised. I mean, he's clearly sacked him now, looking at the state of him. But, you know, he brought on a nutritionist post the Carson Jones fight, and he showed better stamina and better, toning and what have you in his body. So yes, there is that argument, but I agree really, Daniel, that I think, what has he got to offer at middleweight against a legit best in the division? I don't know what's the argument. Brooke was rocked by Carson Jones, dropped by Carl Davids, and Chenko Khan would have more chance because at least there's a tiny chance he might not get hit, however minimal. Of course he's world class, he beat Porter. Well, that's to say Porter's world class, but I don't think he is necessarily. He's good, but is he world class? Is probably
Porter? He's just world class losing, but not world class winning.
Exactly.
He's not good enough to beat the top world class. I mean, you've got to remember, there's 4 world champions now, and he's not good enough to beat the world champions, is he? Right? So
I think if you can't hold.
Was it Malignaggi he beat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
But Malignaggi was finished. Devon Alexander. They were slight.
That Thurman fight was very close. Though.
Yeah, so that's probably fair. He beat Brian.
I think he's world class, he's just not elite.
Yeah, I think that's probably, it's probably fair to say world class,
Yeah.
but not elite.
Yeah, we need the league table stepped
Do you
up.
know the thing is, when you think of world class now, I sort of think of it in the old days when there used to be one world champion. Now you've got so many people fighting for world titles. Is everybody that fights for world title or wins a fringe one world class? Is Charles Martin world class?
Dominic Brazil.
Dominic Brazil world class? No, it's really hard. It's when we say, I think what Neil says is right. When I talk about world class, I'm thinking of elite. He's not elite, but he's world class to complete his near that level.
Going back to Golovkin, I still don't think he's fought anyone world class though, really, has he? I mean, can we really call him the pound for pound king when he hasn't even done that? I mean, if Anthony Joshua, if his next 20 fights are against the likes of Dominic Brazil, he knocks them all out, is he one of the pound for pounds.
Well, I think so.
So
I think it's a fair point, but I mean, by proxy, could you say almost beaten Canelo by the fact that Canelo's bricked it and moved back down to like middleweight for
well,
12
I don't know what's
months?
happened there.
You know, like if you can't get those fights, I mean, I suppose you've got to step up, haven't you, like Kell Brook's doing. But
yeah, I mean, because it's not that Golovkin's doing any avoiding; he's been horribly avoided himself.
yeah,
isn't
but
it?
then
So-
maybe he needs to step up himself, I
Yeah.
guess, and look at.
But he can only fight. He can.
Well, the Andre Ward fight wasn't there? We talked about a couple of last year, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was Andre Ward.
That's a good fight coming up.
Billy Joe didn't want it. Well, you can probably get abused now, but I always say people don't want it when the fight's not made. You didn't want it for the money that was involved, but you know, there was a fight there tomorrow, so for whatever reason it didn't happen, and it wouldn't have been from Golovkin's side. So
Yeah. And there's a fight there with Neil Parry to be made for $4 million.
don't worry, as his manager, I'll put him in tomorrow.
And then there was Kovalev last night on Monday night. Did anyone see that?
Yeah, I watched. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't look good, did he? I thought it was.
Chilemba nicked quite a few rounds
Yeah,
off him.
I thought he took 4 at least.
Yeah, I mean, I've always fancied Ward for that fight against, because he's just a much better boxer than Kovalev. Kovalev's obviously got the power advantage, but I think Ward outboxes him personally.
Yeah,
so
Kovalev looked drained. I thought like he didn't have the same.
yeah, he looked tired. He looked really tired quite early on as well. So
Yeah,
was not impressive.
yeah. I mean, everyone has a bad night. There's
Chilemba's not world class. He's always going to give a tough fight, isn't he? But he's not on that.
I bet Tony Bellew sat home smug as anything
Yeah,
watching that.
yeah.
Just, yeah, for his draw and his win against Chilemba. Ugly fights. I bet he felt vindicated from watching Kovalev struggle.
It wasn't good.
Right, any more interactions before we move on? Golovkin's getting old and it's a shame, says Jeff Thomas. They're just waiting for the right time. Seems a shame. I don't buy into his greatness just yet. McClellan was a great puncher at the weight with some great fast wins over decent contenders. Love the programme. Thank you, Jeff. I think the McClellan comparison may turn out to be.
You know, that's fair.
Yeah,
McClellan was pound for pound the superstar, and then he came over with the same reputation Golovkin did. Nigel Benn, that was one of the most brutal fights I've ever watched.
Yeah.
It was the most brutal fight I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah.
Shame at the end, but yeah, I mean, you could say McClellan was considered the same as Golovkin.
Yeah. Or Jeff Lacey even when he came over for Calzaghe and Calzaghe dealt with him very comprehensively.
But whatever you say, it's not going to be Kelvin that deals with him. So
no, probably not. Right, so we're going to move on and speak with our guest, Neil. Hey, Neil.
Not too bad. Yeah,
Traffic all right?
yeah, it took me 3 hours to get here. Yeah, but that's alright.
Alright, so you're fighting this weekend, didn't you?
Yeah,
Excellent. So you're looking nice and sharp and fit and ready.
ready to go.
Excellent. So this will be your 4th fight in a welterweight. And who are you fighting?
Dwayne Sheldon.
Dwayne Sheldon.
Yeah.
Do you know much about Dwayne?
I just know his record. There's one video of him on YouTube, but I haven't seen hardly any footage of him at all, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know how many fights he's had, and that's about it, really.
coming off around 2 KO last week.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Does that bother you as a fighter? Like, do you think you'll turn up? Because I'll label Dwayne. I don't know a massive amount about Dwayne, but I know his record, and he's probably heading down the journeyman route. You know, if he's fighting week after week, etc. Does that change your mindset going in? As Steve says, if he's coming off a knockout win last week, do you suddenly think I've got to be a little bit more careful?
Yeah. No, it doesn't change my mindset, because the way that I see it, and this is what I try and tell people, because people will have a look at his record and they'll go, no wins, 3 losses at the time. It's an easy win for Neil. It takes one punch. Anything could happen. I could get tagged, hurt, dropped. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
So I take it as seriously as anything. I trained really hard for the fight, and to be honest with you, as soon as I found out he won, I was buzzing, because it makes me look even better when I beat him next week. So yeah. So no, if anything, it made me happier.
Okay. Quick one from Daniel Woodgate. Is Neil still trained by his dad?
Split my time, so I try and spend as much time as I can up in Essex with Terry Stewart.
Is that with KO?
Yeah. Over there, as well as in Canterbury as well. So I try and get as much training as I can as possible, and also training on Pro Gym helps.
Okay.
Yeah, hello Dan. Ages.
Oh, you might say.
Yeah, well, yeah, he boxed as amateur for Canterbury when he first started out. So I've known him since I was like 8, 9 years old.
Nice guy.
He is. Yeah.
So how is that then, training with your dad? Like, do you get any special preferences
No.
as you're his son, or does it go the other way and he's harsh on you? And
yeah, so like when we was he's been my amateur coach since I started, so since I was like 10 years old. And he's always quite harsh, and he's quick to tell me what I'm doing wrong, which is great. Like I'd rather that than him try and be like a dad. He's not a father figure in the gym. He's just a coach, which is what I want. I wouldn't if he was just oh Neil, you're great. Then it's pointless. I'd rather not train. So no, not really.
No.
He's more of a trainer.
So how's it work then, the split between himself and Terry?
So because I like training, I do enjoy training with my dad, and I also train with Spencer Albrecht, who's also at Canterbury. But with my job, I work a mixture of like mornings and evenings. So like 2 nights a week I work till 10 o'clock. So I can't travel down to Buckinghamstone to train.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'd spend the majority of my time there. It's just getting there and back.
So does he train other fighters as well, your dad, or is it you primarily?
Yeah, it's just myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So how then? I mean, you've been it's September you turned pro, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah. It's gone to a year.
So how's the first year been?
Yeah, really good. It's gone so fast. Like a little time hop on Facebook come up of me selling my first tickets.
Oh,
And
right.
I was just like, that's crazy, like how fast it's come around. But no, I've loved every minute of it. It's gone really well. Yeah, I think it's gone well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, in terms of the welterweights that are knocking about at the kind of the level that you're at present, are there any that you kind of have an eye on in terms of how they're progressing against how you're progressing?
I follow like I try and follow a lot. I know a lot about like sort of British boxing at the moment, and like there's a few fighters sort of around my level. So obviously you've got the hand fighters like Ted Cheeseman, he's 5-0 at the moment. Obviously I've known him for a couple of years now anyway, just through like around boxing and stuff. So I see that he's doing well. And then obviously from like the high level you've got Southern area, Tamuka Mucha, but he hasn't boxed.
Oh, he's gone. He's
Is
finished.
he gone, is he?
Well, he was due to fight John O'Donnell.
Yeah.
We won the purse bids, and Tamuka for the second time done a bolt and ran. Wouldn't fight John O'Donnell. So, you know, if you're not going to fight the best, then vacate and run. But you know, he just ran for the fight twice. So John O'Donnell was a bit peaked, to say the least. So he's not champion at the moment. And Tamuka Mucha needs to stand his ground and fight people, because he's got no respect from us for running away from John O'Donnell twice and wasting somebody's career. Don't mention Tamuka Mucha to me, But if you're scared of John O'Donnell, maybe somebody like Freddie Quit or somebody like that might help you out a bit. Fight somebody.
Anyone.
So, continue. You just swore.
You got the red rag out to the ball, I think.
Yeah, carry on.
But domestically, welterweight's always going to be a massive division.
Yeah.
It's the most competitive, I think, around obviously other than the lightweights at the moment in Britain. But you're talking world level when you're talking about the lightweights.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one, certainly around the southern area as well. There's quite a lot of options. So do you keep an eye on kind of how far away you feel from looking at the southern area or international challenge belts, things like that? Do you, somebody who's still in the learning stages of your career, do you keep an eye on how far you are from that, or do you leave that to Steve and do you leave that to your dad? And
I just sort of all I'm focused on. I said it the other day at a press conference. All I'm focused on at the moment is just improving. And if I'm constantly improving in the gym and then keep on getting victories, and then I'm happy. And then at whatever point someone says you need to step up to 6 or 8, whenever, I'll just do it. I'll fight anyone. I'll just do whatever.
so you're quite happy just to turn up, do the business in the ring, then leave it all to
I mean, it's not my job to manage, or it's not my job to call. I'm not that type of person.
Just call Golovkin out for 10 minutes.
I'm the quiet guy, but I would just fight. I'll just stand up and fight anyone.
Excellent. What is Neil's amateur record and achievements? What current pros has he boxed in the amateurs from Jeff Thomas? So what was your amateur record?
I had 16 fights, only limited amateur experience, 16 fights. But I learned most of my trade in the gyms. I spent a year at the Frank Bruno Boxing Academy, and we had quite a successful year. So we had, in my year, myself who's turned over now, Ted Cheeseman, Archie Sharp, and Yusuf Safar, who signed with Hennessy, Warren, and then the year above that was Isaac Chamberlain.
Oh, right.
So talented. So I was training with them daily, and that's sort of how I improved. I didn't really overly have too many amateur fights, just the 16. But I didn't do too bad. I had 16 fights, 9 wins, and that was the right time to turn pro.
Yeah. So how did you end up meeting up with Stephen?
It was a bit of a weird one. I boxed. I think it was March last year, and I won. I stopped the kid in 2 rounds, and my mate had a little video and put it on Twitter. And I was just laying in bed with my missus, and I was just like, because obviously I follow boxing, so I see that. What's his name? Sorry, that's disrespectful. Louis Darling and Josh Kennedy had both signed with Steve at the time, and so obviously I was looking around, and I just tweeted Steve the video of my fight saying, "So when you going to sign me?" with a question mark. I hashtag wishful thinking, just wanted to get like a retweet or like something along them lines, and then I got a reply with, "Come down and see us," and then it sort of went from there.
Oh wow!
So yeah, all because of social media.
Excellent. So you've harnessed the power.
He
of
looks
social
impressive.
media.
He looks impressive in that knockout as well.
So you've harnessed it and made good from it.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So Steve, what's Neil like then to work with? What's he been?
Fantastic. Perfect.
Yeah.
Because he just gets, he understands, as he just said, he understands that he's training hard, he turns up in good shape. You know, he won't pull out of a fight unless there's a genuine reason. He's never pulled out. I'm sure there'll be one day when he's not 100%, he will have to. But you know, he's not there and gets 2 weeks before the fight and hasn't really trained and pulls out and makes out for some other reason. He's really decent work. He understands 16 fights as an amateur does not give, you know, we just need to be slow but sure. And when Terry, his dad and I together think it's time to step up, we'll step him up. But he's not pressurising, I need to move up to 6, I need to fight for challenge belts. He's just doing his job and improving with every fight. And you know, he's showing immense talent. And he's only had 19 fights now in his life. It's not a lot. But he's improving massively. His 3rd fight was better than his 2nd. His 2nd fight was better than his 1st.
And how old are you, Neil, as well?
22.
Oh right, so you've still
So I'm still
plenty of
still a
time.
baby.
Yeah. Excellent. I've just seen. Where was it? Jeff Thomas. Class. Best of luck, Neil. We'll keep an eye out for you in the future.
That's one, thank you.
Daniel Woodgate. Neil has a potential for at least British level. He's very composed and mature in the ring for a young lad, and that will help him as he moves up. I think he'll be a decent puncher as well as he finds his style. Just a shame he's ugly.
It's fair.
You can tell it's my mate.
Could Dan Woodgate with a face like that to call somebody else ugly? Dan,
We love you, Dan.
remember.
Yeah, that's gonna be warm in that glass house right now, isn't it? We love you, Dan. Yeah, no, I mean, he says about your power actually. I mean, you've had the 3 fights; they've all gone the distance, haven't they?
Yeah.
So, does that concern somebody who's starting off on the path of being a boxer, or is it just a matter of do you use those fights as like a learning curve? So you're, to an extent, what's the point in going out? And I know the Fury family, for instance, stick by the principle of like, what's the point in going out and blasting someone out in a round when actually, you know, you're going to learn more from more. But also the level of opponent you're in against isn't there to be knocked out. They're there to you know, be durable enough to take you and teach you some rounds.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to go the rounds. Obviously, I've had 3 fights and they've all gone the distance. I dropped my first opponent. I wobbled badly with my 2nd opponent. Obviously, I didn't take him out, but he's a proper tough. And then my 3rd, I didn't do anything. But I can punch. I think I can punch, but I think it's more, instead of trying to load up on your shots, it's just placement, and it's just the way that you're holding your feet when you land the shot. Instead of trying to force the shot, it's more letting it flow, and that's what I'm trying to do in the gym. And I think once that starts connecting, then I'll start taking people out. But I'm happy to go around some.
The thing is, when we're matching, this is the thing that people don't see. When as a team we match, because we work together. Kevin does a lot of the he does the Europeans, Josh does the UK, but we sit together and plan. But with Neil, it's very important that because he has got limited experience and because he is only 21, we look for the opponents who are likely to survive.
Yeah.
For other fighters that we're matching, we look for other things. For example, on Saturday, just go over in a minute, Christos Ian, who makes his debut.
Yeah. Who was on the other week?
He was on the other week. He has got a lot of amateur experience as a junior. He's in with a vulnerable opponent. So he has a chance of stopping him. That's fine. For Neil, Tadao, we're still doing the rounds. Now, we may put him in fight 5 with somebody that realistically he's got a chance of stopping. But he can't stop. These people are so skilled at surviving, it's very hard to do that. So you won't actually see whether he's got punching power, probably, until you get to fights 5, 6, 7.
So there's almost like an algorithm that goes on behind the scenes of like somebody like Neil, you need to have this type of opponent with this type of record, and that's how you go about the matchmaking.
And Brad Paul's, on the other hand, he's a wrecking machine.
Yeah, how you go?
But he's had a lot of amateur experience, so he may as well go in and build up his reputation as a knockout wrecking machine because it will attract more attention to him. He doesn't really need the rounds, but we're just increasing the toughness.
Yeah.
But even this week, he's got somebody who's never been stopped before, so it's a step up for Brad Paul's. Can he stop a guy that's never been stopped? Probably can, but it's slightly different. You're looking at something different for each fighter.
Yeah.
And Brad's getting a reputation as a wrecking machine as a pro, while Neil is learning his trade, learning the rounds. You've got to, as a manager, think about each fight individually. This is what we do uniquely, is every fight is treated individual and planned individual, and that's why we're different. And that's why, with Neil, we will step him up when the time's right. But it's not just yet.
Yeah, I think going back to what Daniel Woodgate says, and I listen to a lot of Daniel Woodgate says, actually, he's a very knowledgeable bloke on the sport. So if he's saying you've got the potential to hit British level, then that's a hell of a compliment, I guess, isn't it? Really, it's,
yeah.
And Dan's not a bullshitter, so to be fair to him, he says what he thinks, so he genuinely believes that. So that's a good endorsement.
Jeff Thomas, want as many rounds as possible while you're learning, mate, with limited amateur experience. So, yeah, I think that backs it up, and you've got time on your side.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Right, so that covers all the interactions we've got from here. Unless there's anything that I'm missing behind the cameras. No, excellent. So I'm going to turn the attention now to my left hand side. So we're going to speak with Tom Dallas, not the Tom Dallas that Daniel Woodgate put a photo up of, who previously went in with world champion Charles Martin. So you've joined us from a long way away today, haven't you, Thomas?
Yeah, come from Newcastle, where I up in Newcastle. I work for Fighting Chance Promotions. I'm their operations manager. So operations manager is just a title, but I basically get involved with everything really. We've got 5 boxers on our books at the moment. Jamie Humble, Mark White, both super featherweights, both England amateurs. All our fights are undefeated at the moment, all just starting their career. So it's the same really with a match, and then it's just getting the experience. But I mean, they're all doing really well so far. We've got Jamie Jones as well and Carl Redfern. They're a bit different because they've switched over from the MMA platform. They both boxed MMA at a very, very high level. So
that's a lot of cuddling, though, isn't it? Just
yeah,
it's not a proper sport.
Yeah, I mean, they
4 million quid says otherwise.
4 billion, yeah.
4 billion, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, 4 billion.
I mean, that's why they've come over to boxing because I mean it's a better sport, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they can both really bang as well. They're big punchers. And then finally we've got Joan Valau TK. He's come over from Fiji. He's in the British Army, but he's a big heavyweight.
I've seen these Fijian lads. They're units.
Yeah, that's something we're looking at. We're looking at getting another Fijian over for the Fijian heavyweight title for a December show, maybe.
What, in the UK?
Yeah. So we're looking at that as a possibility. Always thinking different things. So, but yeah, I've just always been a huge boxing fan, so I've always wanted to get involved with the sport, really. But
so, what's your background then? You said earlier you come out of university, and
yeah, I've just graduated from Newcastle University, so that's how I got involved with Fighting Chance up in Newcastle. But I mean, because I've always wanted to get involved with the sport, but as you can probably tell, I'm not going to get in the ring myself. I'm not a boxer. So I just sent out messages to a lot of different promotional outfits, including Steve, who I got a polite decline, unlike Neil, about getting involved and working for different companies. But yeah, I just saw an interview on IFL TV one day about a new promoter joining in the Newcastle Fighting Chance promotion. So I sent them a message, and they're happy to get me on board, and I'm working very closely with them every day. We've got two shows scheduled for September, so that's a good statement we're putting out there. I mean, because it's as you know, these shows are hard to run, so putting out 2 in the space of a week.
yeah,
so we're very happy about that.
So I mean, you're running stuff. Is it Newcastle, Sunderland area?
The entire northeast, because if you break it down into the areas, so you've got the northern area, southern area, Midlands, central. But the northern area, that is basically just the northeast. It's the northeast plus Cumbria, which there aren't too many fighters out of Cumbria, to be honest. So these northern area titles, it's just northeast derbies. So yeah, for our two shows in September, we're going to have a challenge belt headlining one and an area title headlining the other, hopefully.
So how long have Fighting Chance promotions been going?
We've officially only had 2 shows to get about a year ago or 2 years ago. We had a show with Dennis Hobson as well, the co-promotion, and but standing on our own, we've just had 2 shows. The first one was in March and the last one in June, both a real big success. We had John Lewis Dickinson headlining one, but very sadly he's retired from the sport last week, which we're all absolutely gutted about, because in Northeast boxing he's an absolute legend. He's achieved so much in the sport, so it's sad to see him go, but it's probably the right decision, I think.
So I just need to Kyle Redfern turned pro? Question mark.
Yeah, he had his pro debut on our show in June. He knocked out Scott Aiken in the 3rd round, I believe.
Okay, yeah, followed up by Jeff Thomas again. That's quite interesting. He'll do tickets. I've seen a couple of his MMA fights, and he's not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, in his MMA fights, he won them all by boxing. Like, he didn't go to the ground at all, really. He just outboxed his opponents and knocked them out, basically. So boxing's just natural. It was a natural progression for him, really.
So, okay, in terms of like Fighting Chance promotions, how much do you keep an eye on what's going on in that half? So, I guess the term small hall promoter always sounds derogatory, and I always feel bad using it. But you know, ultimately, it's what the boxing world is. You have the larger ones, and then you have the kind of bigger end of the small hall ones, like Steve and Co. So, do you keep an eye on what goes on down south, or do you?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we all love our boxing, so even the small hall shows we're very much aware of. But I mean, obviously on the northeast, it's kind of out of the way a bit. So all our lads on the bill are from the area.
Right.
So at the moment, we haven't had anyone from down south come and box on them yet, apart from the away opponents, obviously. But I mean, it'd be great to match some of our opponents against Steve.
I was going to say, do you envisage a time then where you're going to have an English title or something that can either be one end of the country or the other?
That's good. I mean, the thing in boxing is you want to work together, because it's more helpful for Tom to work with us rather than work against us, because you can work together, and sometimes, you know, it's just about doing the right things, and too many people have got egos and too many people block that, and it's good that someone like Tom's in the sport because he just wants to do the right thing, and it makes it, he's one of the new breed of people involved in boxing, which makes it easier to work together, because it's much easier for the fighters to make as much money as they can and do what they can. So if you work together, it's great.
Yeah. So how big is boxing? Because I mean, for those that kind of come to Steve's show, they see it buzzing down in London. Is it? Tell us what it's like up in the north.
I mean, they're absolutely mad for their boxing in the northeast. There's so much talent as well. It's just there's never really been that platform before, because you'll rarely see Matchroom come up to the northeast for a show. They did it once with and Joshua was headlining against Jason Gavin. But we're really hoping that the Hall Haskins fight would be coming up to Newcastle, so we could get a few of our lads on that show, but I think that's going to be on the Brook undercard. So we're disappointed about that, but it's what we expected, to be honest. But yeah, but northeast boxing is the amount of talent there is unbelievable. So
Who wins that?
Out of Hall Haskins,
Haskins.
Hall. I've got to stick with my northeast.
Neil. Steve.
Haskins.
Yeah, I think it's too
He just
skillful.
feels slippery.
Too slick, too awkward.
Stuart's had his I think he's had his night as near starting.
Yeah.
I think,
He was in a cracking fight last time out in that eliminator.
Yeah,
so that
he
was
was.
a good one. So
Italian, wasn't it, or Argentinian?
I don't know.
Great advert for boxing in the
Yeah,
northeast. I think.
definitely.
Max Budging could work with Scottish boys as well? Question mark.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because we're supposed to have Lewis Ritson on our show, who's managed up in Scotland by Billy Nelson. I don't think he is on the bill.
We've had John McCallum fighting. He fought in Sunderland.
Oh, right.
Because he's from Edinburgh. So he fought up there before.
Yeah. So it's saying live video interrupted on my screen.
Yeah, so it'll pop back up.
Yeah. So in terms of like how you lot grow then as a promotional body, what's the aim then for Fighting Chance?
Yeah, I mean, we look at something like Goodwin Promotions, and what they've done to small hall boxing is unbelievable. So to follow in kind of their footsteps and do something similar would be fantastic. I mean, we've got a TV deal at the moment with Made Television. They're based in Tyne, Weir, Teesside, Leeds, Bristol, Cardiff. So all of our shows are broadcast on those channels already. So as Made Television grow and go to more areas, we'll grow as well. It's just we're giving our guys a great platform in the North East, so which has never really been done before. So we've got four shows scheduled a year at the moment, but we're looking to grow that, so maybe even 6 or 8 next year. And like I said, we've got 2 in September, which is a great statement for a small ball.
You've got enough fighters to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be surprised by the number of fighters in the North East.
I've been up the North
Oh,
East,
you
mate.
haven't-
I've seen lots of fights up there.
yeah.
Only outside of Witherspoon.
You've got Steve Ray from Phil Jeffries up there, haven't you? Are you working with them, or you?
Yeah, we work with them. Phil Jeffries is mainly focused on the Sunderland events. He had a great show this weekend, the Summer Rumble, which I was out some good fights on that. So yeah, we've done co-promotions with Rafe as well, and we're happy for our lads to box on their shows. It makes sense, and vice versa. So kind of more promoters the better. Really, just gives the lads a chance to get out. So
Excellent. Right, no, thank you. So you may be hearing more about fighting chances. Big route. So hopefully, if you're ever up in the north and want to check out some boxing, then get in contact with them.
Yeah, like I said, 2 shows in September. One of them's at the Lancastrian Suite, which is kind of the northeast answer to York Hall. It's very enclosed balcony, so generate a really good atmosphere there.
What dates are you running in September?
Penciled in at the moment. It's Friday the 16th of September and Saturday the 24th.
Oh, okay.
There you go. If anyone's up there, have a look at it. Right, so that's the end of the interaction from that. So we're going to have a quick look through the tweets of the week this week. So it's been stacked based around some of the Golovkin-Brook stuff. There's been some great tweets, frankly. We'll start off with Billy Joe Saunders. Now, we haven't got our fancy graphics this week, as you may have noticed, so we're going to be holding these up instead. Billy Joe Saunders tweet to Chris Eubank, at Chris Eubank, "You are the biggest penis I've ever seen apart from your dad. You want easy fights, you little #daddy's pussy."
He don't care, does he?
Not want to mince his words, is he, Billy?
Did you see his IFL interview today? It looks like he's put on quite a bit of weight.
haven't seen-
He's
He's meant to be on the Canelo Smith undercard, isn't he?
Yeah.
But, Chris Eubank himself, senior, he's lost the plot. He's absolutely lost the plot. But he retweeted Spencer Fearon. And Spencer Fearon had put something about the only fight I want to see is Chris Eubank versus Triple G. This is the only fight that matters and the only fight that will pay for. It subsequently changed his tune since it's been announced that Brooks fighting Triple G, and being a Sky person, he now supports that fight wholeheartedly. I'm just saying it's a coincidence, but Chris Eubank Senior then retweeted it and just put "Why the silence?" Tweeted it to Anton Deck, Simon Cowell, David Beckham, and various sporting channels. So I don't know.
I wouldn't want Chris Eubank Senior managing my career.
No,
Oh my God.
what a nightmare it must be. Absolute nightmare. Frank Sinclair, ex-Chelsea footballer. This is brilliant. Looks like at Triple G Boxing has ducked Chris Eubank Jr. Would love to know the real reason.
Do you not think he's had too many footballs?
He's got punchy, isn't he? It's Special K Brook, top fighter, but not middleweight. #easy option. So Frank Sinclair, if you think Golovkin has ducked Chris Eubank Jr., you need to stop watching boxing, because that's clueless. Like, madness. Erislandi Lara, who's himself a very accomplished light middleweight. I'm thinking, which lightweight should I challenge? #Golovkin Brook. So clearly not a massive fan of Golovkin pulling someone up from 2 weight divisions below. Carl Frampton. I'll hold this up for a while so you get the full beauty of the imagery. Nothing to see here, just a picture of a woman holding Special K Brook's balls. It's quite a pair on there. Kell Brook himself, having a go at Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank Jr. had been slightly abusive towards him. You're a British champion, I'm a world champion, brother. Let me show you how to fight. Tune in September the 10th. So, defending his own corner there, fair play to him. Our weekly regular, Dave Allen, who I spoke with the other day, and he's on top form. He described himself, he was talking about the Dillian White fight that he's got coming up.
Yeah.
And he was saying, it doesn't matter what Hearn sells it as, it's not that big a fight. He said, you know, ultimately, it's two at the moment, like limited fighters. And he said, I'm just going to go in there swinging like an area level Deontay Wilder. So I thought it was a brilliant quote. Anyway, back to it. Somebody had tweeted to him, I love this fight. In fact, any fight involving Dillian is good to watch. David Allen's response, yeah, White Baccarin and White Minto were classics. I watch them daily.
We have to get him on the show one day.
I love to. He's up north, isn't he? He's,
We have to give him a shout right in terms of come on.
yeah, I'll drop him a message. George Hennon, the Essex welterweight, could be one for you in the future, Neil. He fought Sam Ball, didn't he, up in Scotland? Put a smile on then, Murray, you boring prick. Which was at the conclusion of Andy Murray winning Wimbledon. Final one was just something that I saw on Twitter during the week. I can't remember who it was that posted it, but it made me chuckle. Scene from The Lion King. Mustafa, is it? I don't know, whoever the dad is. And Simba with Brooke, what's over there, Ed? And then Eddie replying, that's the Eubanks, Kel. Still looking for a fucking pen. Bless them on the back of their prolonged contract negotiation. So, that's about it for the week, really. We'll tie it up. Got a busy weekend coming up, Steve. I'm sure you can do the time off now.
But let's have some predictions from you for training.
Predictions from me. Go on, give me a five. Oh, shit.
Curse is back.
Say?
Curse is back.
You are?
The curse.
McCallum
Oh, right, the curse.
Who wins and how? McCallum Miller.
I felt a chair shot from John. I haven't felt one from Dalton. I don't know. McCallum points.
Okay.
You're not convinced?
No, I don't.
I'm not going to ask you, of course.
Come ask me. No, I'm not saying. What about Waddy Camacho against Danny Cousins?
I'm going to have to go with the four experts that predicted.
You're going for-
I think Camacho round 7, round 8, somewhere around there.
Jack Morris, Kelvin Young.
I'm going to go with Young. A lot of people have picked Morris, and I know it's going to go against your wishes. I think Kelvin Young, I think he might be able to do it. I know he's stepping up, and
what about Josh Kennedy and his fight against Rogowski?
I think Josh Kennedy will smash him.
Good.
Yeah, I think Josh Kennedy, he hasn't looked great in his last couple of fights, I think it's fair to say, but I think he's something special, but he needs to turn it on and get it all right on Saturday night. But I think he could do a number.
And one longer term prediction, Justin Menzies, Bradley Price.
Oh, I haven't seen Justin yet. I'm going to have to...
Should we say that until next week?
Save it till next week. I want to see him Saturday. I'll be ringside Saturday watching. So I want to see how Justin looks.
Okay.
'Cause I've not had the pleasure yet of seeing him. What's your prediction for that?
Let's see how he gets on Saturday. I haven't seen him for 2 years. I'll watch
Yeah.
him Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Any predictions from you guys about those fights? Come on.
What about Neil Parry with Wayne Sheldon?
Neil Parry. Yeah. Tom, give us your prediction on Neil Parry.
I think Neil's getting stopped. That's right.
Now, what about any of those five?
Like I said, I'm interested for the Miller McCallum. I think Miller's a lot better than his record suggests, isn't it?
That's
So,
fair. That's fair.
so yeah, I think might be an upset in that one. Maybe.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Dalton can hit hard. He hasn't had the rub of the green, perhaps.
And he has, I mean, the thing about this fight is John McCallum has trained. Rod Julian trains Dalton Miller said he's never, ever, ever seen somebody train like a demon for a fight like he has. So he said this, no matter what he's done in his career before, this is him at his optimum. And John McCallum knows that, and he's trained like, I think it's going to be a really, really good fight.
Yeah.
Really good fight.
Are there any, Neil, what fight are you on in the schedule? I can't remember. You're on third.
Yeah,
So are you going to get changed to come back and watch? Or,
I'll watch some of the fights. I'm looking forward to, I don't know him personally, but Jack Morris is boxing Calvin Young. He's from Margate, so he's just from down the road from me. So hopefully he brings it home, because we've not had many, if any, champions from around our way.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure on how many we've had, but it'll be good to see him take up the 7 area title.
I think you got some good Kent fighters. I mean, you got Jack.
Yeah.
You've got you got Josh Kennedy. You've got a few others that are coming through from Kent, which we'll talk about next week perhaps. But I think Kent Boxing is starting to thrive, and we think at Goodwin Boxing we've got the vast majority of the really good ones. So I think Kent Boxing could be.
Takaloo, Gilliman's.
Oh, Takaloo, yeah.
Margate's finest.
It's in the past, though, yeah.
Margate's finest.
He was, but it's in the past. We're talking about now. I think Neil's talking
Yeah.
about current. I think Kent Boxing is starting to thrive, and you've got Joe Alfred's promoted. I know he's doing a good job, and we've got some good lads coming through on our side from Kent as well. I think it's a great area. But the Jack Morris, I mean, he's got to win that because he's 33 now. He just can't wait for him. It's do or die for him in that fight, and there's no way for him back if he loses to Kelvin.
Yeah. Kev, Josh, what's going to be the fight of the night for you two? Come on, give me a prediction.
Neil Parry, Dwayne Sheldon.
Depends if you get tagged in the first and floored, then it might be fun.
Come on, you two behind there, give me a prediction. Best fight of the night.
Miller McCallum.
Yeah. Kev?
Yeah, I think they will. It's got the needle with the fight as well, so it's.
So there's a lot of people looking forward to that.
The Morris Young fight could be quite good as well because Young can box a bit, and he can box. He's been stopped a few times, so there's the durability question mark over him. But Morris isn't really a massive puncher, but is a beautiful boxer as well. So that could be a nice fight to watch as well.
I think the Waddy fight's going. Waddy against
Danny Cousins is a great fight.
It's a great fight. I think it's really really good
Yeah.
fight.
I know the experts have gone one way, but Danny Cousins can really hit, and he really can. So.
When he came down for that promo day, when he was hitting the pads, the whole house was pretty much shaking, wasn't it?
So Danny can hit, and Danny is up for this fight as well. Like he's really up for this fight. So it's.
So Danny Cousins, I don't think it's quite as one way as the experts may have predicted. I think there's.
Why we love boxing, you just
People
have
are
to
giving
get
you
out
more of a
of
chance. It could be great. Could be a great fight. I look forward to seeing that. Is that headline in it?
Well, we're not. It's the headline fight, but the last of the championship fights is Miller McCallum.
Okay.
That's on 16th. If we don't finish with a title fight, we then the last fight is Luke Watkins, who is a special
Coming from
talent.
Swindon, isn't
He's a
he?
special talent, and he's last on. But we always end with one of the exceptional talents. We try to, and then we have the title fights before. So Miller McCallum is the last of the title fights.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a great show. And this thing's all right. I mean, I'll be sitting there from 3 o'clock till God knows what time just watching boxing. So as long as it's not too hot, I get plenty of water, I'll be okay. But the poor sods in the ring could be quite hot in there.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Can we tell the security now to allow me to bring some drinks down to bloody ringside? Because they keep pissing me off every time, not letting me.
Well, not really
Anyway.
you're not allowed water in.
Nah, have a word with them.
Okay.
There we go. Oh yeah, the joys of sitting and reporting. Right, excellent. So we'll wrap it up there. Neil, thank you for coming. It's a lot of effort for somebody who's fighting Saturday in the traffic you've been stuck in. And Tom, that's a hell of an effort coming from Newcastle/Norwich for the evening. So thank you and best of luck with fighting.
Thanks for having me.
promotions. And hopefully we'll hear from you again in the future, I guess. And it'll build in the north and not encroach on the south. And as always for Steve.